speaking of psychosis, we have to begin on a Monday with, unfortunately, not the kind of story you want to start your week with, but I think it's important. So there's this guy in Michigan, pedophile. He's going to be spending the next 10 to 20 years in prison after being caught with child pornography. Now, in court, he offered two defenses of his behavior. And the defenses, fortunately, were not successful, but they are kind of interesting. One, he said that child pornography is protected under the First Amendment. Two, he claimed that he himself, though he is a, I think, 45-year-old man, he claimed that he's really an 8-year-old girl. So let's take a look at a report done by the local ABC affiliate down in over in Grand Rapids, Michigan, where this case happened. Here's their report on this. Watch.
Right. Joseph Gobrick argued that his drawings and computer images did not constitute child pornography. Now, during a recent court appearance, he even compared his felony child porn convictions to the horrors of Auschwitz.
I have always been an 8-year-old girl, and even my drawings and fantasies, I am always an 8-year-old girl.
Bizarre statements in a case that was unique, to say the least. Joseph Gobrick was arrested back in 2018 for child sexually abusive material found on his home computer. Now, that came amid an investigation into a runaway 17-year-old girl from Ohio.
He had a minor runaway at the house.
During a search of Gobrick's home on Pine Avenue Northwest in Grand Rapids, police recovered child pornography from his computer. Gobrick contends it was not real child porn, but rather computer animated. And Gobrick says he identifies as an 8-year-old girl.
Whenever we did this, there were adults having sex with me in an online forum as an 8-year-old girl.
Kent County Assistant Prosecutor Dan Helmer says more than 50 illicit images were on Gobrick's computer. They included actual victims known to police. But that wasn't all.
Even during the trial, the defendant continued to draw drawings, provide them to me, talking about raping babies in the Kent County Jail.
Okay, so the judge was not convinced by that excuse, and he shouldn't be, obviously, because it's insane. But based on the precedents in place, the precedent of accepting the self-identification of a person who claims, a man who claims to be a female, well, we have to accept that self-identification. In other words, if you're going to accept that a man can be a woman, exactly on what basis do you reject his claim to being an 8-year-old girl? That's the problem. If you're going to do the first thing, if you're going to say, yeah, this biological male is a woman in some mysterious sense, then why can't he, in the same sort of mysterious sense, really be an 8-year-old girl or a 12-year-old boy or whatever he wants to be? So we know in this case, according to left-wing gender theory, which is now mainstream gender theory, promoted by the media and Hollywood and academia and everywhere else, corporations. So we know that we can't reject this scumbag's claim to being a female. That part he's allowed to have, right? We have no basis. If he says that he's a female, then we have to just give him that, don't we? The fact that he's a creepy old bald dude is irrelevant. He says he's a female, and so he is. That's the way it goes. What about age, though? Well, remember, by the way, we've seen this before. There was that few years ago. There was that 50-plus-year-old man who left his family, left his wife and kid to live as a 6-year-old girl. You may remember, maybe you remember that case. Maybe you've blocked it out of your head. Probably a better thing to do. But on what basis do we reject their claims to being young girls if we accept the idea that a man can be a woman? See, we can't say, well, as sane and reasonable people, our response when a 45-year-old man says he's an 8-year-old girl, we could say, well, he's just not. He's physically not an 8-year-old girl in any sense of the word, so that claim is nonsense. We can reject it on that basis. It is just factually, biologically, chronologically, physically, in every sense untrue, and therefore it's untrue. But the problem is, that same argument also disqualifies any man who claims to be a woman, because we could look at them and see that they are biologically, physically, chromosomally, hormonally, in every sense, a male. And so therefore that's what they are. It's just not true that they're a woman. But if we're not, if we can't do that, if we can't look at someone physically and make these determinations based on science and biology, then again, we're left with the same problem. How do we disqualify someone who says that they're a child when they're really an adult? Because we've already established that physical and biological realities are irrelevant. And we can't say, well, gender is fluid, but age is not. First of all, gender is not actually fluid. There's just two of them, biologically speaking. There aren't any others. It is a binary system. We just pretend that it's not binary, that it's fluid. So why can't we do the same with age? In fact, here's the thing. Age actually is fluid in a sense, in the sense that nobody stays one age forever. I'm a 33-year-old man now. I'm not going to be a 33-year-old man 2 years from now. I'm still going to be a man, but I won't be 33 anymore. I wasn't a 12-year-old boy forever. I was only that for 1 year, right? So age does change. Moreover, a man who says that he feels like a woman has no frame of reference. He's never been a woman, and therefore he doesn't know what it's like to feel like one. And so whatever feelings he's having, he has no way of knowing if those are actually woman feelings. And so therefore it becomes this circular logic where he says he is a woman because he feels like one. Well, how does he know that he feels like one? Because he is one, right? It's a circle. It doesn't make any sense. Well, I hope you enjoyed that clip from the Matt Walsh Show. If you did, go ahead and hit that subscribe button right down there so you can stay up to date on all of our future content.